Welcome to the World Cup edition of the Head-to-Head series, where we will be finding out which national soccer team is the best. So if you ever find yourself wondering or debating with your friends on this subject, then you've come to the right place. Now, as most of you probably know, the only teams to ever win the World Cup are Uruguay, Italy, Germany, Brazil, England, Argentina, France, and Spain. In each episode of the World Cup edition, we'll be making head-to-head comparisons between two of these teams to see which one is historically better. We'll be going over friendly matches, Confederations Cup, World Cup, and Olympic matches, as well as Continental Cups and World Cup qualifiers if it applies. The team with most friendly victories will get 1 point. In case of a tie, the team that scored the most goals gets the point. Same thing goes for the different competitions with the addition of 1 point per title. These points don't get carried over though, they're just to determine each episode's winner. By the end of each episode, the winning team gets a total of 3 points. By the end of the World Cup edition, the team with most points will be crowned the best team in the world. So without further ado, let's get started with today's clash, which will be against the first two teams to ever be crowned the World Cup champions, which are Uruguay and Italy. So the very first match between Uruguay and Italy also happened to be the first and only time they ever faced each other in the Olympics. It was the semi-final of the 1928 Olympics in Amsterdam, Holland, where Italy took the lead with a goal in the 9th minute of the first half by Baloncieri. 8 minutes later, Uruguay would tie the game with Sea. That's when Uruguay began to dominate the game, and on the 28th minute, Campolo scored Uruguay's second goal, and only 3 minutes later, Hector Scaroni scored their third. During the second half, Italy was able to reorganize and not allow any more goals, and on the 60th minute, they were actually able to score their second goal with Livrato. But Uruguay was able to hold on to that victory. Uruguay went on to win that tournament, making it the second and last time they won the Olympic gold medal so far. The first time they had won was 4 years before in the 1924 Olympics in Paris, France. Italy's only Olympic title was in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, Germany. So for the Olympics category, Uruguay gets a point for winning the only game against Italy, and 2 extra points for the 2 times they've won a gold medal, while Italy gets 1 point for their Olympic gold medal, making the score 3-1 Uruguay. Now as far as friendly goes, it's been extremely even. Both teams have played each other 6 times, they each have won twice, and there's been 2 draws. Uruguay's biggest victory over Italy was back on January 3rd, 1981 in a mini tournament called Mundialito, which was celebrating 50 years since the first World Cup. Now this tournament is regarded by FIFA as a friendly, so this is how we're going to see this match. Now this game was goalless until the 67th minute when Julio Morales scored the first goal for Uruguay on a penalty kick. Then on the 81st minute, Victorino scored another one for Uruguay, and that was the final score. Uruguay 2, Italy 0. Again, that's Uruguay's biggest victory over Italy. Italy's biggest win over Uruguay was a 3-0 victory back on June 7, 2017 on a friendly match, which also happened to be the last time they faced each other. Italy took an early lead in the game when Jimenez scored an own goal on the 6th minute. Cáceres headed the ball into the net on the 59th minute, but the goal was disallowed due to a foul. On the 82nd minute, Ede scored the second goal for Italy. A few minutes later, El Shaddai was fouled inside the box, and on the 92nd minute, De Rossi scored Italy's third goal in the penalty kick. Now these are the most relevant friendly matches between Italy and Uruguay. They've also faced each other 4 other times, having won 1 match each and tied the other 2. So that makes it a tie as far as friendlies go. So we would have to go to a tiebreaker, which is by goal score. And in this case, Italy wins, having scored 6 goals, while Uruguay was only able to score 5. So that's 1 more point for Italy. Now moving on to the Confederations Cup. So neither one of these teams have ever won a Confederations Cup title, and they've only faced each other once, which was back in 2013 on a match for third place, which ended up in a 2-2 draw and a penalty shootout. Italy took the lead on the 24th minute after a free kick where the ball hit the side post and then bounced off of Musletta's back and pretty much landed on Astori's foot, who pushed it into the net. On the 58th minute, Cavani tied the game for Uruguay. On the 73rd minute, Alessandro Diamanti scored Italy's second goal off of a free kick. Five minutes later, Cavani said, "I can do that too," and tied the game again on a free kick. And that was the final result, leading up to a penalty shootout. Diego Forlan missed the first shot for Uruguay. Aquilino scored for Italy. Cavani scored for Uruguay. El Shaarawy scored for Italy. Suarez scored for Uruguay. Mattia De Siglio missed for Italy, making the score even again. Cáceres missed for Uruguay. Giaccherini scored for Italy. And Gargano gave the victory away to Italy by missing the penalty shot, making it Uruguay 3, Italy 4, which gives Italy one more point. Moving on to the World Cup. Now, as far as the World Cup goes, it's very even. They've faced each other 3 times, the first time being in 1970 in the World Cup in Mexico, where it was a 0-0 tie. The second time was in 1990 in the World Cup in Italy for the round of 16. The first half of that game was goalless. Then on the 65th minute, Schillaci scored the first goal for Italy. Then on the 83rd minute, Serena scored Italy's second goal, and that was the final score, 2-0 Italy. Italy was later eliminated in the semi-finals against Argentina in that World Cup. They went on to play for third place, beating England 2-1. Uruguay's only victory against Italy in a World Cup was back in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. They were playing in Group D. It was their last game in that group. They both needed the victory in order to move on to the round of 16. It was a very tight game with a few fouls, and on the 59th minute, Marquisio got a red card over a very silly foul. This is also the same game where Suarez bit Chiellini. I mean, to me, honestly, till this day, it's still unbelievable what this guy did. I mean, who bites a person? I mean, it doesn't matter how aggravated you are. You just don't bite a person. That's barbaric. That's animalistic. Honestly, in my opinion, I have nothing against the Uruguayan international team, and I have nothing against Uruguay in general. But Suarez, on the other hand, honestly, in my personal opinion, he should have been banned from the sport long ago. I mean, it's not the first time he bit anyone. You know, the first time he bit somebody was back in 2010 when he bit Bakal. 3 years later, he bit Ivanovic. You know, then there was the handball situation in the 2010 World Cup against Ghana. He has scored at least one goal with his hand And there's also the racial slur against Evra. So I mean, it's just, this guy is the epitome of non-sportsmanship. He just shouldn't be allowed in the sport, and I don't think he's a good human being in general. But again, that's just my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with this video, so I'm just gonna stop here. So going back to the game, on the 81st minute, Uruguay scored with a header from Godin on a corner kick, and that was the final score in the game, and that's how Italy was eliminated in that World Cup. Uruguay went on to the round of 16, where they were actually eliminated by Colombia in a 2-0 defeat. So as far as World Cup goes, both teams are tied. Each team has won once. So we have to go to a tiebreaker again, which is by goal score. And Italy takes this one because they have scored 2 goals. And Uruguay has only scored 1 goal. So it's another point for Italy. And both teams, they each get extra points for their titles. So Uruguay gets 2 points for the 2 World Cup titles that they have, and Italy gets 4 points, making it a total of 5 points for Italy and 2 points for Uruguay for the World Cup round. So if we add it all up, Italy has a total of 8 points and Uruguay has 5 points. So again, just to go over all the matches that they've played against each other, as far as friendly goes, they've faced each other 6 times. Each team has won twice, and there's been 2 draws. Italy has scored a total of 6 goals. Uruguay has scored 5. As far as the Olympics goes, Italy has 1 title. Uruguay has 2. They faced each other once. Uruguay won 3-2. As far as the Confederations Cup goes, they faced each other once. It was a 2-2 draw. Italy won on the penalty shootout, 3-2. And then as far as the World Cup goes, they faced each other 3 times. Each team has won once. There's been 1 draw. Italy has scored 2 goals. Uruguay has scored once. So the overall total, as far as the head-to-head comparison goes, they faced each other 11 times. Uruguay has won 4 times. Italy has won 3 times. There's been 4 draws. Uruguay has scored 11 times, and Italy has scored 12 times. So this is it, guys, for today's episode. This makes Italy the winner on this episode, giving it 3 points. So Italy is leading the table as far as the World Cup edition goes so far. And so if you guys like this video, please like, you can comment below, tell me what you think about it. You can subscribe to my channel, and please also let me know what you guys want to see on the next edition. I could talk about the UEFA Championship champions, or the Champions League champions, or Premier League champions, or the Libertadores champions. Just let me know what you guys want to see next. Alright, so thanks again for watching. Peace.